All right, buckle up, everybody. We're going deep today.
Deep.
Yeah, seriously deep.
Like ancient wisdom deep.
Exactly. We're diving into Stoicism, Roman emperors, all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah, but we're not just talking about any old philosopher here.
Right.
This is Marcus Aurelius we're dealing with.
Emperor and philosopher.
Guy was running an empire,
Talk about a busy schedule.
and still found time to, ponder life's big questions.
I know, it's wild. Like, most of us can barely find 5 minutes to meditate.
Seriously.
So our source material today is this article, really fascinating, all about Marcus Aurelius's philosophy and how, get this, we can actually use it in our modern world.
Ah, see, that's the key, right?
Yeah.
Making these ancient ideas relevant.
Totally. And the article focuses on this idea of the power of indifference, which, I gotta admit, sounded a little weird to me at first.
Oh, yeah, I get that.
Like, shouldn't we be passionate, engaged with the world?
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not about becoming some kind of unfeeling robot.
Okay.
It's more nuanced than that.
Okay, so before we get too deep into that power of indifference stuff,
Uh-huh.
can we back up a sec? Who was this Marcus Aurelius guy? Besides, Emperor of Rome, which is already pretty impressive.
I mean, yeah, not too shabby on the resume, but he was also a Stoic philosopher, which, kind of unique combo.
Seriously. Like, imagine the pressure of running an empire.
It's like, oh, got to deal with this rebellion over here, but also, what is the meaning of life?
Exactly.
And get this, he was known for being a pretty good dude, actually virtuous.
But no easy feat for an emperor, right?
Not at all. Like most of them, kind of power hungry, corrupt, all that.
Yeah, history's full of those guys.
But Marcus Aurelius, different story, known for justice, fairness,
Makes you wonder if his philosophy influenced his leadership, maybe.
It's a thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like maybe Stoicism is the secret to good governance.
Something to ponder.
Anyway, the stuff we're looking at today is from his personal writings called Meditations.
Oh, I've heard of those.
But here's the thing. They weren't meant for, public consumption.
Really?
Yeah, more like his private journal, almost like self-therapy, but on paper.
Wow, that makes them even more fascinating.
Definitely adds another layer.
It's like we're peeking into the mind of an emperor
Exactly.
who's dealing with, the same stuff we all are.
That's it, right.
Like how to live a good life, deal with stress, find meaning, all that.
And that's why they've resonated for centuries.
I think so.
It's like it doesn't matter if you're an emperor or just trying to make it through Monday.
Yeah, we've all got our struggles.
The human experience,
Okay, so let's talk power of indifference then.
All right, ready for this?
Is he really saying we should, stop caring about everything?
Not exactly, no.
Because that doesn't sound like a recipe for, a happy life.
Right, no, it's more about this. Think about how much energy we waste on stuff we can't even control.
Oh, I do that all the time.
Right. Worrying about things we can't change. Stoicism, this indifference, it's about redirecting that energy.
So less stressing, more focusing on what we can influence.
Thoughts, actions, reactions,
Okay, so it's not about, suppressing all emotions, becoming, I don't know, Spock or something.
Nah, no Vulcans here.
Good.
It's about choosing what we focus on.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Not clinging to how we wish things were, but accepting what is.
Deep stuff.
And then working from there.
Kind of like, I don't know, how nature adapts to change, right?
Exactly. Like nature doesn't resist the cycle of decay and renewal. It flows with it.
Yeah, it turns what seems like an ending into a new beginning.
Right. And Stoicism is kind of asking us to do the same with our own lives.
Okay, getting the concept now, but what's the practical advice here?
Okay, well, the article, it mentioned a few specific teachings, right?
Yeah.
From Marcus Aurelius, and they're surprisingly relevant even today.
So ancient wisdom for modern problems.
Exactly. So one of the big ones, change is inevitable.
Oh, yeah. Can't argue with that.
It's just part of life. Resisting it, that's what causes suffering.
Makes sense.
But when we learn to accept it, embrace it even, then we can move through those changes,
With less stress, more grace.
Totally. Think about it. This applies to everything.
Everything.
Relationships, jobs, even global events.
Let's take it. The only constant is change, right?
Nailed it. And this whole change thing, it ties into another key teaching. A pure mind.
Pure mind. Okay, what's that all about?
So Marcus Aurelius believed that by letting go of stuff that doesn't really matter, anxieties about the future, dwelling on the past, all that we make space in our minds.
Like mental decluttering.
Yeah, exactly. And that opens us up to clarity, focus, inner peace.
That sounds a lot like mindfulness, which is super trendy right now.
Right. But here's this Roman emperor talking about the same stuff centuries ago.
It's wild how these ancient ideas keep popping up, even today.
Well, I think it shows that, human nature, it hasn't really changed that much.
Yeah, deep down, we're all still dealing with the same anxieties, the same desires.
Exactly. Still searching for meaning in this crazy world.
So Stoicism, it's like a timeless toolkit for, well, for being human.
I like that, a toolkit.
Yeah.
But, this pure mind thing, it sounds simple, but it's not easy.
Especially in our world today.
Right. We're constantly bombarded with information, distractions, you name it.
Yeah, like my phone is a constant source of chaos.
Right. So how do we actually cultivate this pure mind amidst all that?
Yeah, good question,
It's not just about telling ourselves to stop thinking about things.
because that never works.
It's more about awareness, noticing our thoughts, gently guiding ourselves back to the present moment.
And focusing on what truly matters.
Exactly. It's like decluttering our mental space, creating room for what's important.
Okay, so far Stoicism sounds like a lot of letting go.
Letting go.
Yeah, letting go of resistance to change, letting go of thoughts that don't serve us, letting go attachments to outcomes.
Interesting way to put it.
But is it all about passive acceptance? What about taking action, striving for goals, making a difference in the world?
That's a great question, and it leads us to another big concept in Stoicism: virtue.
Virtue, okay.
Marcus Aurelius, he believed that virtue should be our guiding principle in life.
Okay, but what exactly did he mean by virtue? I mean, it's one of those words, it gets thrown around a lot, but
Yeah.
can mean different things.
Well, in the Stoic sense, we're talking qualities like wisdom, justice, courage, temperance, kindness.
Those are some pretty solid qualities.
Right, like those are the things that make us good humans, and they should be the driving force behind our actions.
Not fame or fortune or external validation, all that.
Exactly. It's like shifting your definition of what winning looks like.
Instead of focusing on external achievements, it's about becoming the best version of yourself based on those core virtues.
You got it. And that's a powerful shift because true fulfillment, according to Stoicism, it comes from aligning our actions with those virtues, not from chasing fleeting external rewards.
Okay, I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together. We let go of what we can't control, cultivate a clear mind, and we act from a place of virtue.
That's a pretty solid framework for life, actually.
But what about when things get really tough? Life, throws curveballs.
Oh, absolutely.
How does Stoicism help us deal with adversity?
That's where Marcus Aurelius' perspective on adversity gets really interesting.
How so?
He saw challenges not as something to fear or avoid, but as opportunities.
Opportunities for what?
Growth, learning. He even said this: the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way.
Whoa, that's deep.
Right. So instead of seeing obstacles as roadblocks, we can reframe them.
Like as stepping stones.
Exactly. Now, of course, nobody's saying we should enjoy suffering, but the Stoic perspective, it encourages us to zoom out.
Zoom out.
Yeah. See the bigger picture.
Give me an example.
Okay. Imagine you're in a dense forest. You can only see trees blocking your view. But if you could climb to the top of the tallest tree, you'd have a whole new perspective, right? You'd see the forest as part of a larger ecosystem connected by rivers, mountains, all that.
So it's about shifting our perspective from the micro to the macro, from our immediate problems to the grand scheme of things.
Precisely. And when we do that, our problems often seem less daunting. It doesn't diminish the pain or struggle, but it can help us find meaning, even purpose.
It's like that saying, don't sweat the small stuff.
Exactly. But in this case, it's more like don't sweat the small stuff because cosmically speaking, it's all small stuff.
Okay, that's a good one.
And that shifting perspective, it can be incredibly liberating.
I bet. Any examples from Marcus Aurelius' own life that, illustrate this whole finding meaning in adversity thing?
Oh, absolutely.
Because, come on, being Emperor of Rome, probably not a walk in the park.
Not at all. He faced wars, plagues, betrayals, you name it.
Yeah, talk about adversity.
But instead of becoming bitter or giving into despair, he saw these hardships as tests.
Tests of his character.
Exactly. And he used those experiences to refine his philosophy.
So his stoicism wasn't just theoretical, it was forged in the fire of real-life challenges.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so compelling, so relatable.
He was walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
And doing it in one of the most demanding arenas imaginable, the Roman Empire.
Okay, so we've talked about embracing change, cultivating a pure mind, finding meaning in adversity, acting from virtue. Are we missing anything?
Oh, there's one more, really crucial. Detaching from outcomes.
Ooh, okay. Tell me more.
We can control our actions, the effort we put in, the intentions behind our choices, but the results,
Yeah.
often those are beyond our grasp.
Ugh, tell me about it.
Right. How many times have you poured your heart into something only to have it not turn out the way you hoped?
Way too many to count. And yeah, it's a major source of stress.
So, detaching from outcomes, it's about releasing that need to control the uncontrollable.
So less white knuckling, more going with the flow.
Exactly. We can still strive for what we want, but the Stoic approach, it's about finding joy in the process, not just the end result.
That reminds me of that quote, life is a journey, not a destination.
See, Stoicism in a nutshell.
And this shift from outcomes to the process, it can be really empowering, right?
Absolutely. It allows us to act with integrity, guided by our values, not driven by fear or the need to achieve some specific result.
It's like when you release that pressure of needing a specific outcome, you can actually approach things with more clarity, more focus.
And less anxiety about what might happen.
This is making me rethink my whole approach to everything. It's so easy to get caught up in those what ifs.
Oh, the what ifs, those are killers.
What if I don't get the promotion? What if this relationship doesn't work out?
They drain our energy, steal our joy.
Exactly. But Stoicism, it offers a way to reclaim that energy, redirect it towards what truly matters, living in accordance with our values, being present, responding to challenges with wisdom and resilience.
It's a powerful shift in perspective.
This has been an incredible conversation. Really thought-provoking, I gotta say.
It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you.
I'm starting to see how these Stoic principles can be applied to so many different areas of life.
That's the beauty of it. It's a framework for navigating the human experience.
Well, I feel like we've just scratched the surface here,
Oh, we have so much more to unpack.
which is why we've got part 2 of our deep dive coming up. We're going to delve deeper into this idea of letting go as a path to liberation
Ooh, that's a good one.
and how we can use these Stoic principles to find more peace, joy, and resilience in our daily lives.
Can't wait. Until then, I encourage our listeners to really sit with what we've discussed today.
Yeah, what resonated with you, what insights stood out, and how might you start incorporating these Stoic principles into your own life?
Big questions worth pondering.
We'll see you back here for part 2. Keep those deep thoughts flowing.
Always. All right, welcome back to our deep dive into Marcus Aurelius and Stoicism.
If you're just tuning in, definitely catch part 1 first. We laid a lot of groundwork.
Seriously, lots of juicy philosophical concepts.
We're talking about how Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, how his ideas can actually help us navigate, well, modern life.
Because let's be real, life can be pretty chaotic these days.
Understatement of the century. We talked about embracing change, cultivating a pure mind, finding meaning in adversity, all that good stuff.
And even zooming out, getting that cosmic perspective,
Yeah, it's all connected.
Right. But there's one more concept from the article that I think we need to unpack.
Okay, hit me with it.
It might just be the key to unlocking, well, a deeper sense of peace and freedom.
I'm all ears.
Especially in a world that often feels anything but peaceful or free.
Okay, now you've got my attention.
We're talking about letting go.
Letting go. That sounds a bit, I don't know, cliche.
Yeah, I get it. It's one of those phrases that gets thrown around a lot.
Right, like in every self-help book ever written.
Exactly. But with Stoicism, there's a deeper layer to it, I think.
Okay, I'm willing to be convinced.
So letting go, it's simple in theory,
Sure.
but incredibly challenging in practice.
I can imagine.
Because our minds, they're wired to cling to control,
Yeah, I can relate to that.
We resist change, we grasp at what feels good, push away what hurts.
It's like our brains are stuck in fight or flight mode, even when there's no real danger.
Right. Deadlines, traffic jams, that annoying coworker. Suddenly we're in survival mode.
And our egos, they love to hold on tight, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. To anything that makes us feel safe, secure, in control.
Even when that clinging is actually causing us more stress.
It's a paradox, right? We think by controlling everything we'll find happiness, but the Stoics, they saw it differently.
How so?
They understood that true liberation, true peace, it comes from aligning ourselves with the natural order of things.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it.
It's about accepting what is, letting go of our rigid attachments, those expectations we have about how things should be.
Finding peace in the present moment.
You got it. It's not about becoming passive. It's about recognizing that real happiness, it doesn't come from external things, but from our internal state of being.
So letting go, it's more nuanced than just giving up. It's about shifting our focus, finding freedom in a different way.
Exactly. And one way to start is recognizing impermanence.
Impermanent.
Yeah, the fact that everything changes, nothing stays the same.
Even things we think of as permanent, like, I don't know, our personalities, our relationships.
Even those are in flux. Our
Whoa.
bodies age, our minds evolve, mountains crumble, nothing escapes change.
So you're saying that clinging to things, it's kind of a recipe for suffering.
Because we're clinging to something that's ultimately fleeting.
We get attached to a certain identity, a certain outcome, then freak out when things inevitably shift.
And that's where the practice of letting go comes in.
Okay, but how do we actually do that? Let go, I mean,
It's a process, a continual practice.
not a one-time fix.
Right, it's about learning to ride the waves of change, not control them.
Easier said than done.
For sure. But the more we practice, the easier it gets.
So it's like building a muscle, that letting go muscle.
Exactly. We start to trust the natural flow of life, knowing that even when things are tough, there's a bigger picture, a larger intelligence at work.
Larger intelligence.
Yeah, like a cosmic order, a wisdom that goes beyond our understanding.
Okay, I got to push back a little here.
Go for it.
That sounds a bit, I don't know, mystical. Not exactly scientific.
Fair enough. And to be clear, the Stoics weren't necessarily talking about a personal god or a divine plan.
So what were they talking about?
More like a universal reason, a logos that permeates the universe.
Okay, so it's about trusting in that inherent order, not some supernatural being pulling strings.
That's a better way to put it. And that trust, it allows us to let go of that need to control everything, to surrender.
To surrender to what is.
Exactly. And find peace in that present moment.
You know, this ties back to the power of indifference that we talked about before.
It all connects.
It's not about becoming emotionless, but about choosing where we direct our energy.
Focusing on what we can control, letting go of what we can't.
It's a practice, a constant awareness.
Because we'll fall back into old patterns. That's natural.
So it's about noticing that and gently guiding ourselves back.
Back to that place of trust, that surrender.
This is really making me think.
Good. That's the goal.
I think I'm starting to see how letting go can lead to a more peaceful, more fulfilling life.
It's a journey, not a destination.
And it's a journey I think we all need to take, especially in today's world.
Couldn't agree more.
I'd love to hear from our listeners, actually.
Yeah.
Where do you struggle with letting go in your own lives? What are you holding on to that's maybe causing you stress, preventing you from experiencing more joy?
It's a good question to ponder.
For me, I think it's often about letting go of the need to be right.
Yeah, that one's a classic.
It's like I cling to my opinions, my beliefs, even when it creates conflict, tension in my relationships.
Because sometimes letting go of being right allows us to be kind, compassionate.
Exactly. And that's more important in the end.
Right. So it's about becoming aware of those patterns, those tendencies to cling.
And then making a conscious choice to let go.
To choose freedom over fear, trust over control.
Powerful stuff.
It is. And it's a process, a journey of self-discovery, really.
This has been an eye-opening conversation.
It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you.
We've covered a lot of ground.
From the paradox of control to the practice of letting go, the importance of recognizing impermanence.
And how all of this can help us live more peacefully, more joyfully.
Despite the inevitable chaos of life.
Oh, I feel like we've just scratched the surface of letting go.
There's always more to explore.
But for now, I think it's time to move on to the final part of our deep dive.
All right, ready for more Stoic wisdom?
Absolutely. In part 3, we'll explore how Marcus Aurelius' insights can help us cultivate a deeper sense of gratitude, purpose, and connection to something larger than ourselves.
We'll see how these ancient ideas offer a powerful antidote to the anxieties and uncertainties of modern life.
Can't wait. Until then, keep reflecting on what we've discussed. How might you incorporate this art of letting go into your own life? Welcome back, everybody, to our deep dive on Marcus Aurelius. We're in the final stretch now.
Part 3, can you believe it?
I know, time flies when you're exploring ancient wisdom. If you're just tuning in, definitely catch up on parts 1 and 2.
We covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, we talked about the power of indifference, the art of letting go, all that good stuff.
Stoicism 101.
But in this final part, we're going even deeper.
Deeper.
Oh, yeah, we're talking about finding connection, purpose, that feeling of belonging to something bigger than ourselves.
The big picture stuff.
Exactly. And honestly, this is something I've been struggling with lately. It's so easy to feel lost, insignificant, in this crazy world.
I get that. Like, what's the point of it all? Where do we fit in?
Yeah, those existential questions.
Well, Marcus Aurelius, he had some thoughts on that.
Okay, I'm listening.
He believed that by connecting to something larger, whether it's nature, humanity, whatever resonates with you, we tap into a deeper sense of meaning.
Like, we're not just isolated individuals anymore.
Exactly. We become part of something grander, more interconnected.
And that can change everything, right?
Absolutely. It affects our well-being, our relationships, how we handle challenges, everything.
Okay, I'm on board with the concept, but how do we actually cultivate this connection? Where do we even begin?
Well, Marcus Aurelius, he was big on gratitude.
Gratitude, okay.
Not just as a fleeting feeling, but like a way of life.
Like a daily practice.
Yeah, appreciating the simple things, the warmth of the sun, a good cup of coffee, the people we love.
It's like stop and smell the roses, but on a cosmic level.
Exactly. Because gratitude, it's not just about feeling good, it's about recognizing the interconnectedness of all things.
So it's like the more we appreciate, the more connected we feel.
And the more compassionate we become.
Because we're seeing the good in everything, even when things are tough.
Which is key, right? Gratitude isn't just for good times.
It's like a superpower for dealing with the hard stuff.
Exactly. Even when life throws curveballs, there's always something to be grateful for.
It's about shifting our focus, right?
From what's lacking to what we have, even if it seems small.
So gratitude becomes a lens through which we view the world, helping us see the good even in difficult times.
And that shift in perspective, it can be incredibly powerful.
Because it reminds us that even in the midst of suffering, there's still beauty, there's still connection, there's still meaning to be found.
And our actions, no matter how small, they matter.
Like, we have the power to make a difference.
Exactly. We're not just insignificant specks in a vast universe. We're active participants.
Wow, that's pretty mind-blowing.
It is, and it ties back to that idea of finding meaning in adversity, which the Stoics were all about.
Right. Challenges are opportunities for growth, learning, all that.
Marcus Aurelius, he saw those tough times as tests, shaping our character, making us stronger.
So it's not about pretending things aren't hard, but about choosing to see the potential within those challenges.
Finding the strength to keep going, knowing that, hey, we're not alone in this.
And that shift in perspective, it can make all the difference.
From feeling like a victim to feeling like, well, like a warrior.
Facing those challenges head on, knowing that we'll come out stronger on the other side.
With wisdom, resilience, and a deeper understanding of ourselves.
So if we were to sum up Marcus Aurelius's wisdom, like, what are the key takeaways for our listeners?
Embrace change. Cultivate a pure mind. Find meaning in adversity. Detach from outcomes.
Don't forget aligning our actions with our higher ideals.
And recognizing that we're all connected to something bigger than ourselves.
It's incredible how these ideas, written thousands of years ago, still resonate today.
It's the power of philosophy, to guide us on this human journey.
And while our deep dive is coming to an end, the exploration doesn't have to stop here.
Keep those philosophical muscles flexed.
Exactly. Yeah. Keep reflecting on these ideas, how they apply to your life, and remember, as Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts.
So choose wisely, my friends.
Wise words to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Stoicism and the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. Until next time, keep seeking knowledge, keep asking questions, and keep exploring the depths of human wisdom.